everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little review and demo on some new primers that just came out. These are the Ofra Illuminating primers, and I have two different shades here to share with you guys. We're going to get straight into the video. I'm going to try to make this a quick review, but before we get started, subscribe down below if you haven't already and give this video a thumbs up if you end up enjoying it. And you can also tap the notification bell if you want to be notified when I upload new videos. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. They are linked in the description box. And we're just going to go ahead and get started. Alright, so the interesting thing about these to me is I swatched them right away when I got them and read the back of the box. And I realized that even though they are both just the Ofra Illuminating primers and they're technically supposed to be the same primer in different shades, there is a little bit of a different description on the back of each box. So the first shade is this light shade. This is the shade Northern Lights. It's kind of like a white milky looking primer with just some subtle shimmers in it. And the description on this says, prime and glow without the oiliness in this soft focus primer. Imperfections will be diffused as this light catching prepping lotion dries to a satin finish and creates a smooth base for your makeup. And then for the deeper one right here, which looks a lot more like a kind of illuminating bronzy glowy primer, this is in the shade Rays of Light, and this one says, shine on without becoming too dewy in this illuminating primer with a satin finish. Imperfections will be out of focus as this lightweight primer adds a hint of warmth to your face that will give you that lit from within radiance that you can wear on its own or as the perfect base for your summertime glow. So before we go any further into the video, I do want to say that Ofra did send me these primers, so thank you to Ofra for gifting me these. But I'm still going to be 100% honest with my opinion. I'm not being paid to say anything good about these. This video is not sponsored. They just sent these to me to try out. So I just wanted to mention that so that you guys know, and I will link these down below in the description box in case there's something that you're interested in, as well as a coupon code for, I believe it is 20% off. It is Ofra20, and that will be in the description box as well. So like I mentioned, they are different when swatched. And I did apply them both to my face today. And then I applied foundation on top to just show you guys what they look like with a thin layer of foundation. Now the one I'm wearing on my skin today, I did my full face of makeup on top of it, is the Rays of Light primer. I do want to say this is kind of like a first impressions because I did just try these out today and I'm not giving like a review after having used them for like a month, but I do kind of feel like I got a pretty good feel of what these primers are about. So I am going to insert demos while I talk about each one. The first one is the Northern Lights primer that we talked about, and my thoughts on this one, I would say I was really excited about it when I first swatched it. I thought it looked really beautiful. I felt like it was more kind of my vibe because it looked more of like a dewy, milky white primer that had just a little bit of that lit from within shimmer glow to it, whatever you want to call it. And I found out very quickly when I applied this to my face today that it does feel very much like that when you first apply it. But when you blend this out and let it set for a couple of seconds, it becomes very much like it says on the back of the box that it's a soft focus primer. It kind of gives that soft focus effect to the skin. It's not a very dewy, wet glass skin look. It's very much a soft focus, and it's supposed to have a bit of that glow to it as well. This one I don't think has as much glow, and I just don't really think I would call either of these an illuminating primer. I feel like they're a soft focus kind of satin primer because they do have that almost like very smooth feeling after they set for a little bit. And then they have a tiny bit of like a glow lit from within. But I would say that this one has a lot more of that than the Northern Lights one, the lighter one, which we'll get to that in a second. But I just don't really think that this one has too much of a glow to it. I feel like it's very much like kind of like a milky consistency that blends into the skin and becomes kind of, like I said, a soft focus satin finish that really smooths out the skin. But I just don't think that I would call it illuminating. I don't think it's a bad primer. I just don't think the name is quite fitting, especially since it does swatch kind of like that dewy, milky consistency, and you really expect it to be more moisturizing and hydrating, and it just really isn't, in my personal opinion. And then onto the Rays of Light primer. This one I would say is a lot more of that bronze shimmery glow, especially when you first swatch it. But when you apply this to the face, it kind of does the same thing in the sense that it really kind of dries down to that soft Focus Satin Smoothing Primer. It really feels smoothing on the face. I don't really know that I consider it pore filling or anything, but it just feels very smooth on the face, and it doesn't have any really tacky consistency after it sits for about a minute or two. I do personally prefer this one. Like I said, it is the one that I'm wearing on my skin today, and I do think this one has a little bit more of a glow to it while still having that satin kind of smoothing finish that I mentioned 100 times. But I do prefer this one if I had to pick one. Of course, like I said, this is more of a first impressions, and I haven't tried these out long enough to really tell you exactly how I feel about them, but I do feel like just applying these, you can tell immediately these aren't super dewy or illuminating, and it does say that on the back of the box. It says, you know, with the Northern Lights primer, it says prime and glow without the oiliness in this soft focus primer. And with the Rays of Light, which is the deeper shade, it says shine on without becoming too dewy in this illuminating primer with a satin finish. So it does technically say that, you know, you're not going to be oily, you're not going to be too dewy, but it still says that they're illuminating primers, and I just don't know if I would necessarily call them that. I feel like they're more of, like I said, a soft focus primer with a little bit of glow, especially the deeper one. The lighter one, I would say, doesn't really come off glowy on the skin. It does kind of in the swatch. It has like a dewy look to it, but when you apply it, it just doesn't come off illuminating or glowy. This one does a little bit more, so I do think it looks good, and I will probably continue to use this one. I just don't think that they are necessarily, like I said, illuminating primers. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Hopefully the lighting is good enough to where you can see how it looks on the skin, and just let me know what you guys think of it. I didn't mention that I didn't set my face. I'm wearing powder products in the sense that my bronzer and blush, and I did set around my eyes, but I didn't set my entire face, so I did kind of want to leave it just kind of like the foundation with just as minimal product as possible on top. I think it looks really pretty. I already love the foundation that I'm wearing over top of it. This is the Clinique Even Better Makeup. I wore this in both demos when I put the primer on and then the foundation. This was what I was wearing in both times, and I thought it looked good, but like I said, I prefer the deeper one if you're going to go for one. I just don't think you should be expecting anything really dewy, glowy, or luminous, because that's just not really what this primer is, even though that's kind of how it's marketed as. But nonetheless, I do think it is really pretty on the skin, and I do like how it looks under my foundation. I just haven't tried this out. I haven't worn it for a full day. It doesn't seem like it's going to break up my makeup at all. You know, it didn't feel like oily or anything, so I feel like it's going to do pretty good. Obviously, I don't really know. I'm just kind of going based off of what type of primer it is, but I'm going to leave you guys kind of like my end of day thoughts in the description box or in the comments, and I don't think I'm going to do an end of day check-in. I'm probably just going to end the video here, and I'll leave you guys my thoughts at the end of the day. But yeah, there wasn't really too much to say about these. I don't think they're bad, like I said. I just don't really think that they are exactly what they're marketed as, and that's just my opinion. I have to be 100% honest with you guys. I'm not going to mess around. I'm not going to tell you that they're these dewy illuminating primers when they're not, you know? Like I said, I do like how they look on my skin so far, but I just don't think I would call them illuminating, like I've said many times. And I'm gonna kind of end the video here because I don't have too much else to say. Let me know if you've tried these yet. I think they have just been released probably in the last week or two, so I don't know how long they've been out, if you've been able to get your hands on them yet, but if you have, I would love to know your thoughts in the comments. And that's gonna be it for today's video. Just a quick little review. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe down below if you haven't already, and give this video a thumbs up. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter, like I mentioned. They are linked in the description box, and tap the notification bell to be notified when I upload new videos. Like I said, that's everything. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.